Hello and welcome to the channel. So today we're doing another cheap versus expensive. We're looking at Gyeon Wet Coat up against Repco's brand called Eclipse, and it's their ceramic polish that we're looking at. So we're putting those two up against each other. One is cheap, one is expensive, and just seeing what the difference is between the cheap and the expensive product is, and if it's worth forking out the additional money for the expensive product. So as you can see, I'm just marking out the bonnet at the moment, or the hood. This video comes at a recommendation, I guess. I guess it was a recommendation. It was a comment from HHS401 who said that, who wanted my thoughts about the Repco Eclipse product, and I hadn't used it, so I bought myself a bottle. It was actually quite cheap, so this is the first time I'm really using it. Apologies for the late video. I did say I'd do this a while ago, but I've just had a couple of videos stored up since then, so I'm getting this one out. So as you can see, I've just cleaned the hood, and now I've marked out where we're using the product. I'm covering up all sections. We're using wet coat on the far panel there. So I've wet it, sprayed it on, and now rinsing it off. So the Gyeon Wet Coat is currently one of my favorite products at the moment. If you haven't seen any of my videos, I will link it to the top. I'm doing a couple of experiments with the wet coat. It is, as I said, it is one of my favorites at the moment. It is my go-to for the moment. Now I'm marking out the spot for the Repco Eclipse. Now the Gyeon Wet Coat comes, I believe, in a 500ml bottle. You're looking at around about $27 for the wet coat. The Eclipse comes in a 473ml bottle, and that comes at $10. So you get more wet coat, but not $17 worth. Just putting these two to the test and see, should this be, well, let's say $16.50 more expensive, the wet coat. So as you can see, having a little bit of trouble with the the bags that I've got to mark out, as anyone living in Victoria would know how windy it gets. So let's have a look at the test. This is 6 weeks later, and I've more or less left the car part in the backyard. It is summer transitioning to autumn in Victoria, so it was mostly hot. Towards the end of the 6 weeks, we did get a lot of downpour of rain, so that's going to obviously test the protection and see how long it lasts. So what I'm doing now is I'm cleaning the part. We've got the wet coat on the right hand side there, and then the Eclipse through the middle. Again, as I said, it's been mostly sunny, mostly really hot here in Victoria over the last 6 weeks. I haven't touched it. I've just kind of left it on the cement to absorb all the dust, all the wind, all the sun, all the rain, all the elements, but not. And I haven't done a weekly clean or anything like that of it. So as we can see, the wet coat, we know what the wet coat can do. We know how long it lasts, which, judging by my other tests, but having a look at that, it's still looking pretty strong. So comparing that to the control, which is the bottom, it's shading off very quickly. So 6 weeks in, it's still looking very good. When you compare it to the bottom's got no protection, and it just sheets off like it's nothing. So the wet coat's still holding on really strong, which is good. This is the one I'm more interested in, which is the Eclipse Ceramic Polish Made Easy. So let's see what that can do. Now, having a look at that is sheeting off really well as well. So as spray on, rinse offs go, 6 weeks is generally the benchmark on what shows as a good product. So the fact that it's still going strong at that 6 week mark shows that it's probably probably in the top tier when it comes to spray on, rinse off. Obviously, it's a bit different if it's you're buffing off and things like that. And having a look at the comparison with the control area, it's still apparent how much it's still there. So, you know, for $10 for almost a third of the price, it's still holding on really well for 6 weeks in. I am gonna I might do a part 2 or a part 3, depending on how long these protections hold on to the panel, but at the moment, they're still going very, very strong. Both of them, really, when we compare the two. They're both sheeting off very, very quickly. So I've changed the nozzle on my hose, and this is a bit more direct. So I just want to see the impact of the water hitting the bonnet. And yeah, it just sheets off straight away. There's a bit more impact area, I think, on the Eclipse, but even then, it's still really, really good, like how quickly it just sheets off. And we have a look at the control, and the control is very easy to flood. So yeah, the protection's still doing its bit, still doing its work, which is really, really good. I'm very surprised at, number one, how cheap the Repco Eclipse Ceramic Polish is, and how much protection it gives. Usually, I'll be honest with you, I did go into this test thinking that the Wet Coat would absolutely smash it and it would be over by now. But the Wet Coat, we know, is one of the better products on the market, one of my favourite products. So we know what it can do. We know it's going to last a bit, quite a lot longer than, well, probably about two or three more weeks, I imagine. Maybe more because it's not being driven. But we'd like to see if the Repco Eclipse can hang with it. So this is the beading. So just having a look here, so you can see the control where there's no protection, absolutely no beading whatsoever. The beading looks good on both sides. I think the tighter beads, hard to pick, but I think the tighter beads might just go to Wet Coat. But yeah, look, as I said, very surprised so far with what I've got at the moment. I'll keep you posted on how this experiment goes, because I'm very interested in this now as well. So there will be definitely a part 2. Don't know if there'll be a part 3. Depends how long the protectants hold on for. But yeah, if you did like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps a small channel like mine. Thanks again.